Hi there, Lori from Unique in the Creek. Today I'm going to show you how to do our character wreaths. Our character wreaths are done exactly the same except for the accessories. The accessories are put on a little different for each character, but to make the wreath is almost exactly the same as I'm going to show you today. Today I'm going to do Mrs. In a Field. Get it? In a field? Yeah. We came up with some really clever names, the kids and I. Anyways, to make Mrs. In a Field, I have my face, which I printed just on 32-pound paper. I have 10-inch deco mesh. Now I'm going to mix and match. I'm going to use some of the metallic deco mesh and some of this plain deco mesh. And both of these I believe I got at Paper Mart. I'm also going to use this raffia. Now you can use real raffia. I don't like real raffia because it's such a mess and you have to pull it out of the bag and unwrap it and everything. I got this, it's plastic raffia. So you just unroll it and it looks exactly like real raffia except for the mess. So I got this also at Paper Mart and it's in oatmeal color. I just love it. So I'm going to use some of that in Mrs. In a Field. I got my clothespins as usual. I'm just going to put those to the side. You're going to need Scotch tape, and I'm going to show you how to put lights in the wreaths. Now these lights are battery operated lights. They turn themselves on, so if you put your batteries in at 6 p.m. your lights will stay on for 6 hours and then shut themselves off, and then they'll go back on again at 6 p.m. So there's no remembering to turn your batteries on and off to waste, or to turn your lights on and off to waste batteries. It does it itself. Okay, and I got a piece of cardboard. Piece of cardboard. I just measured at 10 inches because that's what I'm going to cut my mesh at, 10 inches each piece. I got Mod Podge, a foam brush, a squeegee, and I also have this clear top coat. So it's indoor, outdoor, and it's a gloss. I like the gloss because when the lights hit the face, it shines better. But they do have it in matte formula as well. I have my scissors, again my face, and the Unique in the Creek character boards. Now you can use our flower wreath boards to make your character wreath as well. So if you have a bunch of them, still use them. But the character wreath boards, you can tell we have no holes in the middle. This is where we're going to Mod Podge the face on, and the outer holes are still the same. It's much easier to do it on this board, and these boards are actually cheaper than the flower boards. So for cost wise, it's really, really economical to use these, and the way I'm going to show you, because it's so much fun to make. It's great to do a workshop, and the wreaths turn out perfect, like literally every single time. So anyways, all these faces that you can purchase, I have actually digitally designed myself, so I do have the rights to sell them because I made them. So I am going to show you what to do. So for Mrs. In a Field, I'm going to use the natural colored side because it's going to be a brown color. Now if you were using something with a white face like the snowman or the Santa, we would use the white side. But today we're going to use the natural side. So what I'm going to do, like I said, this is just a 32-pound paper that I've sent over to Staples to print, and then they send me a notification when it's ready to be picked up. It's so easy. I will put how to send your faces over as well. So I'll do a tutorial on how to send it to Staples or Office Depot or whatever you have. So I just digitally send it online, pick what paper I want, that I want it colored, and it's going to be 11 by 17 paper, and then once I get it, I just cut out the face. Easy peasy. So there's no wiring faces on or anything like that. Alrighty, there's my face. So you can see how cute it's going to look. Alright, so we have our hanging holes. Where are they? Our hanging holes are indicated right there. I didn't stamp the board here, but we're going to put our twine in first thing wherever my twine went to. I must have dropped it. That's okay. I'm just going to use this. So you're going to feed your string or your twine in through one hole and down through the other hole. You're going to tie it in a knot. Double knot it, and you can tie it as low as you want, as high as you want. I tend to like to tie it closer to the board so you don't see it. There we go. Perfect. And it'll hang on there, and just snip the excess off. There we go. So our hanger's all done. So now, I don't know if you're familiar with Mod Podge. Mod Podge is almost like a glue. It's used a lot for decoupaging, and it works really well. They do have an outdoor Mod Podge, which is a sealant and a protectant. I don't know how much I trust it, so that's why I just use a matte Mod Podge. Now you can get the little bottles at Dollar Tree as well for $1, so you don't need a big huge container. But I do a lot of Mod Podging, so I buy this at Hobby Lobby and use a coupon, or even AC Moore or whatever. Same with this clear spray. I like to make sure when I'm finished my face, I do clear it, do a clear coat of outdoor. That way I'm sure that it's going to be protected. With the outdoor Mod Podge, I'm not too sure, so I just like to be double sure. So I'm going to show you how to Mod Podge your face onto the board. So I pour a little bit of Mod Podge on my board, and it even looks like glue. So I have the 2 hanging holes at the top, and the face is going to go just below all these holes right here. So I'm just going to spread this around. And it doesn't have to be too thick. Because once we squeegee it, the excess Mod Podge will come out the sides. But you want to make sure you get right to the holes. Now this does dry clear. So if you see that you have white on your board, don't fret. And another thing too is this is all going to be covered with mesh. So I have some chunks in there. This Mod Podge is quite old. All right. So now I'm going to put my face. So this face is going to go just outside of each of the inner holes towards the center. So I want my face so it's up toward, like facing up towards the hanging holes. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Just move it a bit. Perfect. So I'm just going to smooth it with my hand first. Okay. And then you can get a squeegee. I have one of these squeegees. You can use a credit card or debit card or anything you want. Okay. And I just like to dab my squeegee just a little bit into Mod Podge, just so it slides on the face much easier. And we're going to seal it afterwards anyways, so but once you squeegee it on, it doesn't take long to dry, maybe 10-15 minutes. So in that time that it's drying, you can cut your mesh. Oh, I must have something on my squeegee. It's got a little bit of brown. That's okay. Anyways, it's starting to dry already, and it's right. We just don't want any bubbles on our face. Okay. Alrighty, so I'm just going to put that aside for now. Okay, so our face is going to be drying. It's already dry, almost dry. And then I'm going to spray it with the clear spray. Really good coat. You might want to, if you're using this, you might want to spray it outside because it is quite smelly. And once you spray it, it'll take probably an hour to dry, unless you put it outside, and maybe half an hour. But if it's a windy day, don't put it outside to dry right away, because it will pick up anything in the air. So I'm going to spray this a little bit later, as soon as this is dry. Actually, it's almost dry already. So if you're using the outdoor Mod Podge and you're not concerned about the sealing, you can pretty much use your wreath frame very soon. Okay, so now I am going to prepare my deco mesh. So I am going to be doing, where's my pencil? I am just not prepared for anything. So I got my lights, and for the deco mesh, all the 8 outer holes I'm going to be doing with a gold metallic, so that's 8 pieces. And then these, every other double hole I'm going to do with a metallic as well. And then these holes with these holes right here, these are what I'm going to put just the plain mesh with no metallic and pieces of raffia. So there's 16 total holes, so I need 8 pieces of the plain mesh and the raffia. So I'll probably put 2 pieces of raffia in. And then we need the metallic. We need 8 for the outer side, and then another 8 for the inner. So we need 16 pieces of the gold metallic, and we need 8 pieces of just the plain. Now, if you were doing the whole thing with just the metallic, which you can, I just happen to have these 2 rows open, you're going to do 16 here and 8 here. So a total of 24 pieces for your wreath frame. Okay, so our Mod Podge is dried. And for teaching purposes, I'm going to pretend I sprayed this already all over the face and let it dry. This is going to seal this from any weather elements since this is paper. But between the Mod Podge and the sealant, the indoor-outdoor clear coat, it will be perfectly fine in the any elements or the sun hitting it or whatever. So now I have the battery operated lights, and I am going to show you how to put them on your frame. Now, you don't have to put lights on the character wreaths, but they're so cute, especially if you can find the battery operated lights. So what I'm going to do is there's a big long space in between the first light. So we're going to be hot gluing the battery pack to the back of the frame. And I am going to start taping the lights on. Okay, so I'm going to we are going to put a piece here, so just taping them on, we are going to be zip tying ruffles in here, so it will also be zip tied onto the board. So the tape is just to get us going and hold our lights in place while we're going. So I'm doing it, let's see, I do every other. 20 lights on here, so I do here, 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 here. Okay, we might have a few left over and we'll just put them at the bottom. Okay, so now we're just going to tape it in place. So I'm going to have one. So we just want the wire to make sure it's between this last hole in the edge of the board. And I like to have my lights facing inwards if they like to stay. So I'm kind of putting a light in between each of the sets of holes. And then you can tape them, when you're taping them down, you can make them face whatever way you want. Oh, it's thundering here. My dog's going to start freaking out. So once you get your lights on, you can't see the wire frame at all. So if your wire's all over the place, don't worry about it. The mesh is going to cover it anyways. Like I said, we're just taping it on because it will be zip tied into place once we start putting our mesh on. So as you can see, they're kind of making a loop around the board. You can use the rice lights or whatever lights you have on hand. These ones I got at a dollar store here in Canada. And I'm going to see if I can get lots of them. If I can find lots of them, I am going to buy the whole box, a whole bunch, and I can sell them. But unfortunately, this dollar store doesn't have online shopping, so it's scouring each store to try and find them. And they usually only come out at Christmas time, so I stockpiled last Christmas. So just the bottom here, I had 3 extra, so I just put the lights facing outwards. So 1, 2, 3 lights, and they're facing outwards, and the rest are facing towards the inside of the face. So I've got them taped where they'll end up, the wires will end up being zip tied right into the frame. Okay, easy. This we'll do at the end, so just be careful when you're picking it up that you grab the battery pack too. And, oh, I should have told you beforehand, put your batteries in before you tape in your lights, okay? Just to make sure your lights work. You don't want to go through all that hassle of putting the lights on and them not working. So test your lights. That's why I have batteries in it already. So my lights are working. And I'm going to put this aside now, and I'm going to cut my mesh. Okay, so we need 10-inch pieces. So I have my just piece of 10-inch cardboard. Stuck some tape on here. I really do think I need to be called the frugal wreather. So it's just a piece of cardboard from a chip box, but it's 10 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay my on top of my mesh, okay, and I'm going to flip it over. Now you can, it's best to use the polycore foam board if you're teaching a class or something. Just cut for your students, just cut pieces of 10-inch foam cord. You just buy it at the dollar store in a big sheet, and you can reuse them for each workshop. So just collect them at the end of the workshop and just reuse them. That's what I did. But if you're at home and you don't really have the foam cord, cardboard will work fine. So we need 8 pieces of this because it's the one with no metallic. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I've got 8 pieces. Now if you're using a rotary cutter, you can cut 8 pieces of this at the 10-inch mark on your cutting mat. Or if you have electric scissors, you can do like I do and just cut a whole bunch at once. So I have my electric scissors I bought on Amazon. So I am just, I'm right-handed, so I put this around. I'm going to cut, oops, I'm going to cut it off the roll. Okay, put that aside. So yeah, 2 10-inch rolls of mesh could probably make 3 of these scarecrows, even 4 maybe. So it's very economical to teach these. And when I ordered the faces from Staples, they're $1 per face. So even that's cheap. And there's no wiring on. So if you're teaching a class, you can pre-do the faces for them, or you can give them a little thing of Mod Podge in like a condiment container and a little foam sponge. And a couple, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot and tell them you're running a class, and they sometimes will give you some blank gift cards that you can use for squeegees. That's what I did. I went to Lowe's and they gave me a whole bunch of blank gift cards. Now the people doing the workshop think they're real because half of them went missing, but that's okay. I got them for free anyways. So I'm going to cut 16 of these metallic ones, the same size, 10 inches, which I've already pre-cut. So I got a bunch pre-cut right here. All right, so we are going to start our wreath. Oh, I found my little thing. There's that little thing of Mod Podge I got from Dollar Tree. So You can get a little one. This will do quite a few faces. So if you're doing a workshop, go and get a bunch of these at Dollar Tree, and they'll only use maybe a quarter of the bottle. So you can probably get 4 or 5 workshops out of one bottle. All right, so for this, like I said, the 3 one, I'm going to be doing a metallic one going out this way, and then a non-metallic on this set of 2. And I'm also going to put some raffia pieces in to that. I've got pre-cut. I think I just cut them at 24 inches because I'm going to fold them over. I'm going to put them in, and then I'm going to cut the ends. So I'll show you in 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to put an inside one. I'm going to do the outside ones very last. So I'm going to take a piece of my non-metallic mesh that I cut. So it's 10 inches by 10 inches. And the serged, I'm going to put this aside just so you guys can see while I'm doing this. The serged edges will be at the side. There, that's better. The serged edges are at the side, and the cut edges that I did are at the top and bottom. And what you're going to do is a ruffle method. So you're just going to grab the middle at the bottom of where you cut and just pinch them up between your thumb and your forefingers. And you're going to make a butterfly type bow tie thing. Okay? And I like to just clothespin them and an extra pair of hands. So I'm going to do 8 of these, pre-do them, because I have 8 of them I'm going to put in them around the face of these ones with the raffia. So I'll do these ones first, and then I'll do the gold metallic ones. So that's 3. Oh my, 4. I have stuff everywhere. But if you're a crafter, you know my pain. I know you feel me. These are heavy duty clothespins. They're really, really strong. You only need normal paper or wood ones. Okay. Now I like to pre-do them just because then when I'm cable tying them in or zip tying them in, I can do them all at once and then put my wreath to the side, and then I'll make the gold metallic ones and then put those in, and it's really fast. Okay, so I think I got 8. One more. Alrighty, so I pre-made 8 of these bows. Now I'm going to take my wreath frame again, push these, they're everywhere. Okay, now I'm going to get some zip ties. So I'm using 7-inch zip ties. You can use 5, 6, 7-inch, as long as the head of the zip tie is not too big. These are just 18-pound zip ties, so you just need the cheapy ones and not with the huge large head. Okay, so I got these, and then I got some pieces of raffia, and I think I'm going to put 2 pieces in each ruffle. Now I've cut these, they're 24-inch pieces, and I'm going to fold them in half, so I'll have about 8 pieces when I'm done of raffia into each ruffle. So where I'm putting the non-metallic is in the, where it's 3, I'm going to put them in the first 2 closest to the center of the face. So with our system, you just bring your zip tie through the closest hole to the face or the center, and your zip tie head is got a flat side and a concave side. You're always going to have your flat side facing the ceiling. Okay, so if you can feel that the flat part with your thumb, and you can feel it facing the ceiling, that means your zip tie is in correctly. And when you go to zip it up, if it doesn't zip up, or you get it zipped and you don't hear a zipping sound, that means it's incorrectly, and you should adjust it. Okay, so I got my first ruffle And I'm going to put the middle of the ruffle where I pinched it in between these two holes right here. Okay, I'm going over top of the mesh and down through the corresponding hole, and then grab the two pieces of the zip tie in the back, and I'm going to zip it up. Now I'm not going to zip it up right tight because I'm going to slide some raffia in there. So I've got almost a finger space that I can use to stick my raffia in. So I'm going to get two pieces. Again, this is the plastic raffia, and I tell you people, it looks exactly like raffia, and you could even shred it still too like raffia, which is amazing, but it's not messy. It comes on a roll. I think I bought dark brown too. I bought some black. They're really cheap. Got it from Paper Mart. Okay, so what I've done, I got 24-inch pieces, two of them. I'm just going to fold them over and put them as equal as I can. And then I'm going to feed this folded end through the ruffle and kind of make it so it's even. Okay, and then I'm going to zip that in. Zip it in tight, and not too tight, but as you're tightening it, pull it, and your zip tie will pop right into the hole. Okay, and then you can do this afterwards, or you can do it as you're going. You're going to cut the ends, and then you can actually, with the raffia, you can fray it to little pieces, and it looks like real straw. I love this plastic stuff. I'm telling you people. Because I believe it probably would last longer because it is plastic. But anyways, you can do this at the end of your wreath when you're fixing it all and stuff. But you can shred your raffia. You can trim it if you think it's too long. Okay. I'm just going to leave it for now, and then once my wreath comes together and I'm all finished, I will then fix it up. Okay, so this last hole here is going to be a metallic. So we're going to skip this hole, the double hole here. We're going to skip that one, and we're going to go on to the next one, which is going to be another piece of gold. So I got my zip tie in closest to the center. I'm going to take one of my ruffles, putting the pinched middle right in between the two holes, coming up and over. Zip tie over and down through the hole. Lift your board. Grab your two pieces behind and then zip it in. Now don't zip it really tight. Again, enough that when you pull it, you can put your finger underneath. Okay. Flip it around. Again, two pieces of raffia. Now you can use deco tubing, you can use real strands of burlap, you can do your wreath with actual burlap too. You don't have to use deco mesh. Just if you're using burlap, you'll have to make sure you spray it with some kind of UV spray to make sure it doesn't fade. Okay, and then I'm going to zip it tight. Okay, as I'm tightening, I'm pulling, and it's popping right in the hole. And we're going to cut these tails off afterwards. Okay, so you're going to do this with this kind of mesh at every other hole with 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5. I should have 6 more left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to do 6 more of these ones. Okay, and then once you have those done, you're going to then take your gold ones, which I already have pre-cut. So gold ones meaning I have some gold with metallic. I did it like this because I didn't want the whole thing being so shiny with the metallic. So that's why I'm only doing every other piece. So again, you're going to move your wreath out of the way, and you're going to pinch again up the center with your serged ends at the side, making your bow tie. And you can go, once you've done all these, you can go around and cut your pieces and clip them like that. So I'm just going to do 2. I'll show you how to put them in. So up the center. So every character wreath can be done like this. So the witch, the graveyard, the pumpkin, and it's just the accessories that are different. Okay, so I got 2 of these. Now I'm going to zip them in. Now, I'm not putting raffia in with them. I'm just going to zip them in plain. You can put raffia in with it if you want, or some kind of straw or something, but I'm just going to keep it simple. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure I push my wire up into the between the 2 holes. So I'm going to take this ruffle, and the light is in between the hole, and I'm going up and over and down the corresponding hole like I did previously. Grab the 2 ends and just make sure your ruffle is pretty even. Zip it, and this time you can zip it right tight because we're not putting any raffia in. Okay, so once you get going, this gets closer and closer and squished. Okay, so you will not see the zip ties. Okay, and another good mesh to use for this is the jute burlap mesh. So it's like, it's got mesh, but it's got jute strings or threads coming through it. That makes a really, really cool scarecrow wreath. All right, now I'm going to add, see this end hole? The 3rd hole right there. We're going to put a zip tie in there, and this is going to make my wreath a lot fuller, so it's going to be nice and big. So you can add as many pieces as you want here. You don't even have to do a ruffle method. You can do like the sunflower kind of petal method if you want. I'm just going to stick with the ruffle. So I got it in the 3rd hole here, and then it's going to go and wrap around the outside of the frame. So I'm going to do this in gold metallic as well. So I'm going to take my ruffle. Now it's already taped between the hole and the outside of the board. So I'm taking my ruffle and put it between the outside of the board and the hole, and I'm going to bring this head up, zip it, okay, and then I'm going to spin this around. Make sure your ruffle is pretty even. You're going to take your board, bring it around, and you're going to spin your zip tie around and pull it tight and pop it in the hole. And then once you're done, you can fix all your ruffles. So you move them around so they're not right in the face. You can bring the raffia towards the outside if you want. It's totally up to you. Once you do one, you'll get the hang of it, and you'll figure out how you like to do it. Just because when you're going around, pull up your mesh because they like to stick to each other. They're a pain in the butt, but they do make a pretty wreath. Okay, so I'm going to do metallic here. You can even use your face for a workspace. Put your middle that you scrunched over top of your mesh down through the hole, and this one I'm going to pull tight again, and make sure your mesh is semi-equal. My dog is freaking out under here because of this thunder. Okay. Now if it's not full enough once you're done and you want it to be a little more full, you can add 2 pieces to every other hole. But keep in mind, when you start putting them all in, they all start to squish together, and you will be able to then you'll be able to decipher if you want more for your next one. And if you want more, then you just cut the zip ties. Just cut them right off the frame. So right here, and then you can start over. That's the beauty of our system. If you make a mistake, you just can cut them off and restart. Or if a ruffle's really frayed and you don't like that, just cut that zip tie where that frayed ruffle is, take it off, replace it with a different ruffle, and continue on. So I like to use wire cutters to snip off my ends. I have it dedicated. You can get them at the dollar store and just keep them for just end snipping. And then we have our nice neat back. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to continue around with your pattern. So my next one I'm going to do is non-metallic. Now you can even write on your frame. I didn't have a pencil here, but usually I write my pattern on my frame. So I would put an R, an R, an R, so I know that what hole has raffia in it. And then the rest of the holes I know are going to be just metallic gold. So I'm going to stop you guys here, and you're going to continue with your character wreath, putting the mesh on all the way around. And when you're done, you can press play, and I'll continue on and show you how we're going to put in the hat and glue on the battery pack. Okay, I'll see you in a few. Okay, we're back now, and hopefully your wreath looks something like this. Isn't it cute? Oh my god. And it probably only took you maybe half an hour, I think. That's all it took me. So once you get doing a few of them, you get really, really fast at them because they're not hard to do whatsoever. Anyways, I'm going to go around, and I've been separating some of the raffia to just make it a little bit thinner so it really looks like straw. Okay, and you can do that too. Anyways, once it's gone around, then I'm going to push the ruffles so you can see him, her face. I guess it would be a her. She's got a flower in her hat. Now, she's got a flower in her hat. You could also just cut pieces of, checkered ribbon or plaid ribbon, just cut a square and glue it on, and cut a different square of a different ribbon and glue it on. It'll look like a couple patches. That would look cute for a boy wreath. Anyways, so I'm going to put this simple hat I made just with pieces of burlap from the dollar store, and then again the flower, it's just one of those clip-on flowers, and I glued it on with some raffia. So I'm going to secure her hat to the top of her head. Now you can do it to the side if you want. I'm going to do it to the top. And what the holes I'm going to be using are the holes right here, just above the one eye. Actually, if I flip it over, you'll be able to see better. Okay, so I'm going to use these holes. Lauren, can you grab me a pencil? I'm going to use these two holes. So I'm going to move that out of the spot. So this is the middle hole. Thank you. So my zip tie for the hat is going to go in this hole. And I'm going to move this one out, and the other zip tie is going to go through these holes. I'm going to snip these off. I'm not going to snip that one off so I can push in the hole. Where my other clippers went. So I'm just snipping the tails off of all the, look at the nice neat back. You wouldn't even know all the action going on in the front. The back is so nice and neat. Now you could, once your wreath is completed, you can stamp your board with your logo if you want. That way people know where they got it and then it was made. Okay, so I am going to be doing a zip tie in these two holes and these two holes. So they're going to be shared holes. So what I'm going to do is going to take one of my zip ties, and I'm just going to bring it through. Flip it over and find it in the mesh here. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can separate that so you can see. where it's going. So I'm just going to lay the hat down, and I'm going to go through the hat. So I'm going through the zip tie, with the zip tie through the hat, so it just fits in really nice. It goes through really nicely because of the holes. And then I'm going to go down that opposite hole, and I'm going to zip it. Now I'm not going to zip it tight until I get the other one in. Okay, there we go. So just lift it up. Of course, I did my zip tie backwards. All right. So zip it up, but don't do it tight yet. Okay, so it's in there. And then again, I'm going to take a zip tie and put it through that other hole. Also, if you haven't heated up your glue gun, you're going to plug it in now so we can glue the back of the battery pack on, which is really easy. I've already put my glue gun on, but okay, so there's my zip tie. Make sure where my head is. Yep, it's flat. So I'm going to go in front and down, just at the corner there, going down through, so it's like threading the zip tie through the hat, and then I'm going into the opposite hole. I'm going to grab those two pieces and zip these up. Okay. So when we're done, we're going to cut this, and then both zip ties can go in. So I'm going to flip it over again. I'm just going to move the ruffles around. Now I should have stuffed it. I could either stuffed it with paper or plastic bags. Actually, I still can. I have a hole here. I might stuff it with some plastic bags to make it fuller, or it'll just sit on the mesh. Move the mesh around so you get it to like you like it. Okay, once you got it where you liked it, and you might not want to pull it right tight, just enough that it's on there. Okay, you flip it around. Okay, you're going to pop the holes in. I'm just going to leave that one right there. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, look how cute. Oh my god. Like seriously. And how easy was that? I'm going to put some bangs down here for her and move my ruffles around. Yeah. When I'm done, I'm going to put a couple shopping bags inside here and just stuff it up a little bit since it's plastic. Okay, now the last thing we have to do is we just have to glue on our battery pack. So when you're gluing on your battery pack, you want to glue it on to make sure. You'll see that there's little arrows here, and you can feel them raised. We want this side facing up, so if the batteries do wear out, we can take the battery lid off and replace batteries and put them back on. So I'm going to put glue on this side. Now I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue. You can use E6000, and you're just going to glue it so the edge is flush in between there. And there we go. Our wreath is complete. Now this will glow in the dark when you have it put on. So any of our other character wreaths are done exactly the same, with the witch hat being put on almost exactly the same. The pumpkin, I will do a tutorial on the pumpkin to do the leaves. It's just tubes, green tube leaves with some raffia and stuff. And that's just placed on the top of the pumpkin. Yeah, so I'm going to do a Facebook Live for all the character wreaths, but I just wanted to get you guys comfortable with this one. I know a lot of you are anxious to start making them for your craft shows in the fall. So here we go. You start it up. If you want to add flowers or whatever, you can do that as it's going, as you're going. But very cute wreath. No wiring frames on or wiring signs on. Nice neat back. There you go. Thanks guys for your time, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.